Cardtronics is the world's largest owner-operator of ATMs other than a bank. We have roughly 33,000 ATMs operating every day. Last year, without Aline, the ability to create management information about our SOX project status was absolutely horrendous. Just the fact that there were so many people working on it in hundreds of independent Excel spreadsheets, just saying where are we today was a question we just absolutely could not get a quick answer to. And even for things as important as our board meetings and audit committee meetings where I needed to report, it could take me 2 weeks to gather the information about our current status statistics. And by the time I summarized it and had it ready to actually go to a meeting, it was almost so far out of date I hated to go to the meeting and tell them. One of the real quick benefits, and one of the ones that we really attached to decide to go to Aline, was the real-time status of the entire project being readily available within the system. The process of dealing with our external auditors in the past was trying to explain to them our assessment of risk, which was based entirely on our opinion, which is hard to document because everybody has an opinion and they think theirs is just as good as ours, and we really didn't have the evidence in a fashion that was easy to convey. After we did the full risk assessment process in Aline and were actually able to show them the risk factors as they applied to every risk and the controls as they applied to the risk, and really give them a roadmap of how the conclusions were made of what were the key risks, what was the relevance of each of them to each other, and the magnitude of work to be done. We found it, we didn't even have to hardly talk, much less argue about it. They accepted that very readily, and we're very pleased to put that in their work papers. From year to year, we reduced our budget for this by almost $1 million. It was almost entirely in consulting fees that went away. We eliminated roughly 10 to 12 consultants and hired 2 additional employees. The savings that we have gotten from Aline, we perceive as actually going to be funding our ability to be able to do audits going forward, because we're not adding staff. And all we could do in the past was SOX, but we're going to do a number of audits and SOX this year with the same staff. Chris Coyne and others were just jewels in helping us in our education of ourselves, in why we were doing what we were doing, and how Aline actually supports doing it in the very best way, and the documentation that it provides for how you have done it, why you did it, the conclusions you came to, which then makes so much of the rest of the process, dealing with our management, with our users, with our external auditors, so much easier to do. I think one of the interesting things we learned about Aline is that it is so well structured to take you through the proper analysis and the proper planning and testing to do a SOX project really well, that at first you don't understand why Aline is doing what it's doing, but as you work with the Aline staff explaining what SOX needs us to do and how Aline is doing it, the outcome there, it was a phenomenal educational experience for us. The logic of SOX is not necessarily that intuitive, and I think where we struggled was not in how Aline worked, but because of the way the requirements of SOX needs you to do things, it's a bigger growing experience learning SOX through the use of Aline than it is that Aline itself is a challenge. The architectural structure of Aline was a very natural transition to grow beyond SOX, to really running the whole business. And all of those pieces are not independent, but are very interrelated. And the ability to share work performed in one area to support activities in the other being very natural, feels like a very good fit, and it is natural that there would be benefit from that. The integration of the modules, the reusability of data across modules made sense to us. And I think the architecture of actually sharing the work that you do in each module with the others is very supportive of that as well. So it also shares the work that's being done, and a common interface and approach makes it very efficient for us to learn and to use. And what you learn and how one part of it operates applies to the others, makes the learning curve shorter as well. Even in our audit committee meeting 2 days ago, we talked about how well the project went this year, and that it is not a process to be avoided anymore. They actually understand the controls that we're tracking are the right controls, doing the right things, and if we stopped today, they would continue to do them anyway. So they are no longer resistant to our efforts. They're fully supportive. And I think that has been a result of Aline getting us properly focused, doing just the right amount of the right things, and people really appreciate that.